Hey, Steve here. Welcome to this video overview on Racing Price Monitor. It is a very important window that you're looking at, and this may well be the answer. But what is the question? The question is, if you're betting on horse racing around the world, Ireland, England, Australia, New Zealand, France, South Africa, US, if it's covered by Betfair, then Racing Price Monitor will cover it. Not only does it do gallops, it does the harnesses as well. So let's dive into this quick overview on Racing Price Monitor. This software is a part of a family. It originally started off with what I'm going to show you now, the cloud version, which is showing you all the races. And now out of that, we produced two bots, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So this is the Racing Price Monitor cloud interface and has all the races down on the left-hand side. And in the middle there, it has colour chart of the horses. And we have 6 time zones leading up to the race that you can monitor, and that produces these coloured codes there. All green there is meaning that's all 6 time zones. It may have been out from, say, 60 minutes to the start of the race. Each of those 6 time zones we had means if it's all green, that the price has improved on every time zone. And if it's all red, it means it's deteriorated from its opening quote. Okay, so we've had this for a while now, and in the course of the time, we've added a few things. We've actually just boosted in the last month the steamers and drifters for UK, Australia and New Zealand, and also the other countries. We kept them separate as well. And also over here, if you do have a Betfair account, then you can use the interface to bet, but it is a cloud interface, and we find that after a while of having it open, it's a little bit clunky if you're placing bets directly through Betfair using the interface. We suggest that you use other software. This is a monitoring software on prices. If you have a Betfair account, that's great. You can use the betting in that. But if you don't have a Betfair account, you still get all these prices, and that can give you an indication, because there's pretty good pools in Betfair year on and year out, and you get a good indication of the horse if that's streaming or drifting. So it gives you extra guidance. So let's move in and see. This is the runners and races, where it's all the engine room, but then we have steamers and drifters. So we have the links up here to the steamers, and this is on the 24th of November. We can see here we had, I'll go into it in the next slides that are clearer. So we've got the steamers on the left, drifters on the right, and we can set these settings different for each. So the steamer settings don't have to be the same as the drifters, and vice versa. So if we have a look at a close-up of the steamers, this is the Australian steaming horses for the 30 minutes to the start. So what happens is we look at the prices of the horses 30 minutes before, or the software does, 30 minutes before the race start, and then just before the off, it gives you the price movement, and then after the race, it gives you the results. So in this one here, we had 5 horses that started at 40% steam on their price. So we can see here Demigod was at 70s 30 minutes before the race, started at 26. The winner here, Albanian Beauty, was 19.5 30 minutes before the race, and it came into 11.5 just before the jump. So we had 5 qualifying horses. If we use these settings, now you can change the settings to whatever you want. That's the great thing with the Racing Price Monitor. So you can set it from an hour out, 2 hours out. We find Australian racing, most of the market movement happens in the last 4 or 5 minutes. So you can keep that in mind when you're setting your time. With steamer and drifter, you just set one time, say 30 minutes before the race, or in the case of the UK, we did 4 hours before the race, and then it gives you a cut-off time just before you nominate, say 20 seconds before the off, and then it will produce the horses that qualify. Okay, so the good thing with this is we do have an Autobot so you don't have to sit and watch the cloud software all day if you don't want to. It's up to you, but let's just keep going through the cloud before we get into the Autobots. So this is the Australia, New Zealand chart. Then we go into the UK. So we set it 4 hours before the start. Okay, and we can see here we had on this day 17 selections, of which we had 3 winning horses. Bravehearts at 10.5 started at 7s and won 33%. These were all at 30% plus for the movement. So the horse had to move in that 4 hours 30% steam before it made it onto this chart. Brave Boy at Moore, which was 32s into 18.5, and Pebble Blue was 13.5 into 8. So they were our winners. So those 3 winners more than carried over a profit for the 17 bets. If we move on now, we go to UK. These are the drifters. Now we looked at short prices from 1 to 3, and we looked at the same 4 hours before the start. So in the case of movement, we didn't have anything. As long as it was a negative movement, it's been recorded here. And you can see here only one winning race. So that was a losing bet for us. So we lost nearly $2 or £2 there. But we had 4 winning bets for us. So that gave us a £2 profit on that day if we were betting £1, laying £1. In New Zealand, Australia, we had, once again, 5 bets for the day and 1 winner. Kevin was a winner at, which was a losing, that's why it's red. A winning horse is a losing bet and lays. So we lost $1.28 or £1.28, but we made money on the other 4. So that is what can be reflected in the racing price monitor, those we've just shown you. The other thing is you can go back 14 days, so rolling 14 days from today, and look at past results while you formulate what sort of time frame that you want to set and what sort of percentage that you want to look at the drifters and steamers. As I said, you can set both of them separately. Out of that, and the request of people not wanting to sit at the computer all the time, we produced 2 bots over the last year. So we've got the Steamer Drifter one, which goes back on what I've just shown you, and you can set percentages, etc., for the bot to monitor. And what it does, it monitors the figures of Racing Price Monitor. You don't have to have a subscription to Racing Price Monitor to use RPM Percentage Bot or RPM Bot, but obviously Racing Price Monitor gives you the ability to research and find strategies that can work, and then you can implement them in the bots. But the great thing with this too is you can even set the drifting tab into winners. So, I mean, into steamers. So you may have a horse that's drifting, but if the horse is drifting, you still want to bet it in the win market to win the race. So you've got that option there. So you can back it as a steamer or a drifter. You've got the movement, so move to 1% to a maximum of 100. So you can put, like we showed you, New Zealand, Australia before, where it had to be a movement of 40%. Well, you'd make the minimum movement here 40% and maximum 100. So if any horse was firming 40 or more, then that would be a selection, and then you've got the odds range that you'd want to bet it on. So you've got 2 lay options in the bot, and you have 4 steam options, back 1, back 2, back 3, back 4. So these are steam options. Once again, you have the option of even going against the trend, the contrarian. So if a horse is steaming in, you still want to back it as a lay. You've got that option, and once again, you've got the movements there. Plus, you've got the choice of staking. You can have level staking, or you could use source staking, which is stop at a winner. So you have a target and then you work from there to recover to make that target if you have a losing bet. You've got odds settings and all that. Now, the reason I'm skipping over this is because at the end of the video, I'll give you a link where you can go and look at the three individual softwares I'm talking about at the moment. Okay, so that is the RPM percentage bot. Now, that looks at steamers and drifters on those charts that I just showed you. The next bot is the RPM bot, and this bot, what it monitors is the colors. Okay, so the colors on, and it's looking at, whereas the RPM percentage bot is only looking at start price and a finish price, the RPM bot looks at the prices in a range of 6 different time frames. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we look at here, we've got T1, T6, T5, so we've got different prices all the way through. And if we look at the top horse national code, it's all green as we go along. So that means from the T6 time, which I think was about 45 minutes out, sorry, let's use the times up here, 12 minutes out, T6. You can see that moving through there, it produced all green. So national code was a firmer on every price call, every time call. National code was getting shorter and shorter in price. Okay, it started out at $3.40 and it ended up at $3, and it jumped at 2.92. So it shortened the price all the time. And we can see here, next at Iowa, it's only got one green. So the T2 time was the only time, and that was about 3 minutes out. That was the only time that its price actually was better than the previous time zone. This has got T1 from 12 minutes out going backwards, but you can reverse it and go the other way if you want to. But once again, it's explained in the video on RPM bot. So it looks at these color codes here to place the bets. So we set the colors. So if we wanted a solid steamer, we would set it here to all green. The qualification here, all green. So we want the horse at every time call to be getting better than the last time call. That's an all green horse. Okay, all red means the horse started out and just the prices has just tanked from the first time we do a price call to the last time just before the jump. It's worse and worse and worse. The price is going higher and higher and higher. So that is what we call all red. So if you wanted to bet all red, that's what you would use for that. Then we have the minimum of 3 greens, 3 reds. For the last 3 green, that means, say, half an hour out or whatever it was, to say a quarter of an hour out from the race, its price was going backwards. It was getting higher and higher. And then the last 3 price calls, if we had the last 3 to be green and they were all green, then the bot would place the bet. That means money's come in the last few minutes for the race, and if we want to be in that, then we would have the last 3 greens. You set the prices that you will accept. You also set the minimum and maximum price that you want the favourite to be. And you can bet multiple horses, and once again, you've got different staking levels. So I haven't gone in depth on any of these 3 softwares because there's dedicated websites for all 3 of them, and it's linked on this page here. There's a link below the video, or you can copy this down and go to racingpricemonitor.com, Trio, that's with a capital T, .htm, and each bot will have videos and go into more depth and show you different strategies that are working on them. So it's an in-depth. If you're going to go in there, then I suggest that you get yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and have a look through. So Racing Price Monitor, Racing Price Bot and the RPM percentage bot all can work independently. You can have one without the others. There's no need to have racing price monitor in order to use the automated bots. The automated bots will still work even if you don't have a racing price monitor. If you love following the horses, if you don't have a Betfair account, then racing price monitor is the only software out of these two that'll be any good to you, because both the automated bots, you need a Betfair account, but you don't with Racing Price Monitor, although you don't have the ability to bet within the Racing Price Monitor because that needs a Betfair account. But you'll get all the prices, you get the steamers, the drifters, so it's just like you've got a Betfair account, even though you don't, you're still getting the advantage of seeing what all the prices are doing and how the weight of money is moving in the market. So thanks for watching this video on a Racing Price Monitor and its sister bots, the RPM bot and the RPM percentage bot. If you like following money and you want to find strategies, then we've given you some strategies for these to use if you decide to go ahead. So on behalf of Michael and myself, Steve, thanks for watching this overview of the Racing Price Monitor family, and I hope that you get enthused and excited and join us. Thank you.